treasures!
Welcome back!
Hello there!
Here we are again!
Welcome
another
back.
Thursday, another Taylor Treasures.
Yep. So today we're going to be talking about something that I've been doing. She actually still eats sugar, but this is something that I've done.
Actually, I did what you're doing last year, which is you're not eating sugar.
Well, not eating refined sugar. There's a difference between unrefined and refined sugar. Right. So,
and I did this 2 Januaries ago. I did it for a whole month, but you have gone on way longer than I did.
Yeah, so I've gone on for a couple of months now, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, or maybe ever, if I can help it. But pretty much I've stopped eating all refined sugars, not unrefined sugars, because there's a difference. Unrefined sugar is more like from the plant, it's raw, it actually has some health benefits, it's not nearly as bad for you. And refined sugars, you know, what you find in the stores and like ho-ho cakes and all that stuff, just regular.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I haven't cut it out 100% just because it's almost impossible sometimes because sugar is a little bit in like ketchup. It can be in bread. It can be
There's actually a lot in ketchup.
Yeah, so just like food things here and there, I'll eat some just because it's in that food and I can't really help it. But as far as like sweets, I've cut that out with refined sugar. And so we're going to tell you some tips that you can have to cut out refined sugar, and then some recipes that you can try, some things you can buy. We can start off with the first thing we're going to talk about, which is, pretty much the difference between the two.
Yeah, so she mentioned the refined and unrefined sugar. So sugar manufacturing involves the process called refining, and that's during which impurities and colored components are removed. Refined sugar is any type of sugar product that has gone through a process to enhance or refine the raw sugars obtained from sugarcane and other foods. So basically, if it's been toyed with or if it's been changed, then it's refined.
Yeah, and that's when it's not good for you. You know?
And refined sugar is in most stuff, like soda or pop or...
Right, it's in like everything these days.
Granulated sugar, powdered sugar, that's all refined.
Yeah.
And then the unrefined sugar is raw, and it's closest to how it was on the plant.
Yeah.
So we have that. We get it just says like raw sugar on it.
Yeah, it has to say like raw organic. Yeah. So
and it's like it's not white. It's like a tannish color.
Yeah, it varies on the brownish levels of what kind you get.
Yeah.
But then here's some tips on just like how to quit. So for me, for some reason it wasn't too hard. I just kind of told myself one day, it's not good for you. You don't need to be eating all that sugar. And I just kind of did it. But I know for a lot of people, it's very hard to quit. Like, it's really hard. And maybe you'll do it for like a week or a few weeks. And then one day you'll just have a really huge craving for it. And you'll just, you'll just go back to eating sugar. I mean, I know it's very hard. It really is. So pretty much if you have a hard time with it, it's not too good to like stop all refined sugar. And if you just want to like cut down on it, like maybe if you have a dessert for lunch and dinner, maybe try to cut out the lunch and save it for dessert. Maybe have or save it for dinner, after dinner. And then if you want to like make it smaller, if you're taking a piece of cake, cut it smaller than you usually would have. Like just go slowly if you have a hard time with it.
Yeah, you have to be more reasonable with yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise nothing will change if you can't just get rid of it completely. So
yeah, so just like start small, and then you can keep cutting more and more back until you think you're ready to completely take refined sugar away. And so let's see, if you're really having like a craving for it, something you can do is get some fruit. Like if you want a cookie, instead of a cookie, get some fruit.
And I love fruit.
Fruit is really good.
And none of that has sugar in it, but again, that's not the refined sugar.
Yeah, it's unrefined. It's raw. And so you can get that. Try to get you can buy your favorite fruits, so you can have that around. And then like what we like to do is take like all organic 100% juice, like that has no sugar, refined sugar in it, and we get popsicle makers and put it in for like summertime, and then we freeze them in the freezer, and then you can take one out, and it's kind of just like a healthy popsicle.
Yeah, that's very good.
Right.
It's so refreshing.
Yeah, and so...
Oh, another thing, I don't know if you've been on here, but frozen watermelon is so good.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you cut up a watermelon and you put it in the freezer, and then you obviously it can't be rock hard, but when it's like cold for some reason, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, frozen food is good. So yeah, just try that. If you're having a craving one time, just like try to eat some fruit, and then see afterwards if you really feel like you need it. If it's your craving has decreased. Also, drinking a lot of water helps. That can help with wanting sugar. So that's just some tips, and then now here's some like replacements for sugar and like recipes and stuff.
Yeah, so
refined sugar.
You can still make yourself like cakes and fun stuff. Just use a different sweetener. That's all.
Right.
And when you buy these, just make sure that it says like unrefined or raw or whatever you're using.
Or organic. Organic.
Yeah, organic. Yeah. So you can use. There's something called liquid stevia. There's also a powdered version.
Yeah, it's a powder and a liquid. Yeah.
You can use that. There's coconut sugar. We use organic maple syrup a lot. There's also date sugar. I don't think we've ever used that.
Yeah, I don't think so, but that is out there for it.
And then honey. We're big honey people.
Honey. Yeah.
We use that a lot.
Honey helps.
Yeah, and then another one is xylitol, but be very careful because that is like deadly toxic to dogs.
We're not talking like
cats. Like,
chocolate.
If they eat it,
it's
they
like
will
really
die.
bad for your dog.
But it works if you put it in stuff and you eat it. Just don't let your animal get it.
Just don't let your animal get it. And so like all these things will contain like antioxidants. It'll have like iron, all sorts of vitamins and stuff in these sugars.
Yeah, and honey is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's like it's got a ton of stuff that it'll do for you.
Yeah, and then the healthiest ones in that list are probably the honey and coconut sugar. Those are probably best. Like if you see cane sugar or like palm sugar, those ones are just pretty much sugar. I mean, they're a little more raw than the white sugar you get, but they're really not too good for you. So try to stay away from those ones. And then so the last thing is the things you can make and buy. So to make, we'll put a bunch of recipes down below for you to check out. But just like an overview is like there's a cupcake that actually has maple syrup and beets in it, which you'd think, beets in a cupcake. Good. But you can't taste the beets at all. It's really, really good. And then you just use the maple syrup. And then there's avocado dip, which actually it is avocado, coconut powder, maple syrup, and a few other things. It's really simple to make, and it's really good. You can have it with like apples and such.
You mean cocoa powder?
Cocoa powder, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said coconut powder.
I was confused for a second.
Cocoa powder. But yeah, it's just a few ingredients. You put it in, then you can have it with whatever fruit you like. That's pretty good. And then there's also something called black bean brownies, which there actually is black beans in the brownies. And you add like peppermint and maple syrup.
Yeah, it's
cocoa
the peppermint
powder.
Flavoring that's so good.
Yeah, it is so good.
I love peppermint.
But yeah, again with the black beans, I mean if you eat these, they're not going to be like the ones you get in the store, those kind of sweets, but they are still really good, and you can't really taste the black beans too much. And then like there's chocolate brownie cheesecake, which uses like coconut sugar and stevia. There's just so many things you can make without using refined sugar. It's just amazing. And then if you like if you want pop one night, another alternative for that, like a healthier, is if you get seltzer / sparkling water, and then you take stevia, liquid stevia, and they have all sorts of flavors for that. There's like there's root beer, there's Coca-Cola, I think there's fruit ones. You can get all sorts of ones, and you just drip it in the water, mix it up.
Which is, you can do that.
Right.
I can't stand
she doesn't like soda, she doesn't like the sparkly stuff. Yeah. But if you like pop, that's a good one for you. Again, it's not going to be pop exactly, but it's still going to help you with that
that's a good
craving.
thing to mention here, is that you can't ever eat something that's healthy and think, oh, it's going to taste like a Reese cup.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different.
You have to expect that it's going to be different, and then you'll be surprised because it's actually pretty good. But don't expect it to taste like I don't know, a Little Debbie's treat.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. And honestly, you'll probably not want to eat as much of it just because it's healthier and it fills you up more than like unhealthy sugars would. So you're actually going to have smaller portions.
It's not addictive.
Yeah, because
that was nice.
Because one of my favorites is the Cupcakes, which have the beets and the maple syrup, and it has some coconut sugar and a bunch of other stuff. But they're so healthy and they're really good. And for me, like if I had a regular cupcake when I was eating sugar, I would want to eat like 2 or 3. I just want to keep eating them. With this, like I eat one and I'm like, oh, I'm nice and full now. I don't need to eat another.
Yeah.
Because it's nice and healthy and it gives you nutrients. So that's a good one. And then for buying the stuff, like if you want to get like healthy with unrefined sugar and sweets, you're not going to really find it in your regular grocery store. It's just it's very hard.
Health food store.
Yeah. So pretty much like Whole Foods is a good place to go to. And then online you can find online co-ops. One we always use is Heathier. I'll put a link for that in the bottom. But yeah, and then you can just ask them, like you could call them and say, hey, I'm looking for a sweet, like a sweet treat. Do you sell any that have just unrefined sugar in it? And they'll have options for you. So that's a good thing to have. And then let's see. So pretty much, even with unrefined sugar, you don't want to think like, oh, this is really healthy, so I can eat a whole bunch of it. Like, you still want to have a balance, you know? You don't want to eat too much of it. Just
still
like
eat
anything.
your veggies, kids.
Yeah.
Eat your veggies.
Yeah, you can't replace it with that. But again, it's a lot healthier. But just have a balance. Don't eat too much of it. Just like the regular sugar. Yeah, and then fruit overall is one of the best sweet things you can have, even though it doesn't seem like it's a dessert. After you cut out sugar, it will seem like a dessert.
Strawberries.
Strawberries are good.
Strawberries.
Apples, my all-time favorite is like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries.
Kiwi. I love kiwi too.
Kiwi are good, yeah.
So good.
But yeah, so that's the best. Like, fruit is one of the best because it's one of the rawest out of all the sugars. But there's just like so much more we could talk about, but that's what we're covering today. Comment down below if you do this, or if you have any other questions that we could answer. Just ask us below, because I know we didn't cover everything, but we got some good stuff down here. And
next week, check back, because we're gonna be vegan.
Not quite yet. No,
we're not vegan.
Not vegan. Not happening anytime soon for us. But yeah, hope you learned something new about sugars, and hopefully this will inspire you to cut out as much sugar as you can. You know, and again, you don't have to cut it out cold turkey 100%. You know, you can just go from take a little bit out and a little bit more very slowly, and that's pretty easy. A lot easier too. So hope you enjoyed this video, and now it is time for the news.
Today in the news, a group of rabbits in Pennsylvania have recently brought a case to animal court against the famous groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil. Back in early February, Phil predicted the arrival of an early spring, but the cold winter has not decreased in the past weeks, and the rabbits claim Phil falsely predicted the spring in order to gain more popularity. Stay tuned for more details.
On another note, the wild deer population is still on the rise, and because of their increasing numbers, a new challenge has come to many people's attention. Deer with nothing to do have taken up the hobby of photobombing. This new practice has many environmentalists warning hikers and campers across the country to check for unannounced deer in the background before snapping a picture. And now it is time for the Taylor Treasure Box. Alrighty. Let's see. Go.
Okay, one truth and two lies. Alright.
Alright.
Let's see.
I have to quote a scene from the TV show Psych, which is my all-time favorite show. So I'll think of one easily. Okay, are you ready?
I think I am.
You're ready. Okay. Am I gonna know these?
I think.
Okay.
I think you will know these.
So we have to figure out the truth, right?
Yeah, there's two that are not true and one that is true. Okay. So, number 1, I once fed an apple to a deer. Number 2, I once went to the top of the Empire State Building. And number 3, I once went into work on the wrong day. Which one of those is true?
Well, I think I know, because I know you would never actually feed a deer. So I think the lie is that you fed a deer an apple.
There's only one truth, so there's 2 that are not true.
Oh, yeah. 2.
So,
two then. Oh, what's the...
Pick the one that is true.
Oh, okay.
'Cause 2 of them
You
are
went
false.
to the Empire State Building.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh, yeah, you didn't go to the top.
I did not go to the top.
Oh, yeah.
I went to, like, whatever number floor it is, and then I think you have to pay extra to go all the way to the top.
No, you didn't want to for some reason.
I don't remember why. Like, why? I was at the Empire State Building. Why did I go to the top of the building?
Because you didn't want to go that high for some reason. But
don't
that's just weird
understand.
because you're not really afraid of heights.
Yeah. Like,
Especially-
I was going back in my head, and I'm like, you were at the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go to the top? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did not do that. The truth is that I once went into work on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
It actually was not my fault. I was covering for somebody else, and she told me Saturday. We did never clarify which Saturday was to be covered, and she meant a different Saturday than I thought she meant. So we should have talked about a date, but we didn't. But yeah, I walked in, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, but yeah, when we went to New York, there was the floor that you could go outside, and that was just below the very top, and you and one of our friends stayed down there to look out, and then me, my mom, and my brother went up to the very top.
Right. So you've seen it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it.
It's very scary.
Well, you don't like heights. So.
No, I do not like heights, and I went up, and it was like. It was actually very peaceful, though, because it's very quiet, and there were just big glass windows all around, and you could look down, and every time I was like, woo! I would only stay by the window maybe, like, for 2 seconds. I was like, can't do this. Too high.
Yeah.
So for my quote from Psych, there's so many good lines, like, every 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I'm doing is... Sean, he's the main character. He's like this fake psychic, and he works for the police. And he can be very cocky sometimes. But one of the things he says is he goes, "Wow, I think I just blew my own mind." And they're like, "Yeah, because that's hard to do."
Okay, Sean. All right.
And then another one is I've heard it both ways, because Sean, he'll always say like the wrong word for something, and then they'll correct him, and he's like, "I've heard it both ways." Like, no, you haven't. All right, so hope you enjoyed this episode, learned something new, got inspired. Again, if you have any questions anymore, you can comment them down below, and we'll answer you. And make sure to give us a like and a comment and subscribe. And after you subscribe, press the bell so you get all of our videos in your notifications box.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode. If you'd like to subscribe down here, that would be awesome.
Or a video.
If you'd like to watch a previous episode, you can click up here. If you'd like to watch a random episode, you can click down here. We'll see you next time. Bye.